Go ahead, Al.
So before we did the whole anatomy of the economy, we were going to get into when I got to this area and how tough it was. My level of fear and anxiety was higher than I've ever had in my life, a lot higher than I have right now. And the reason for that, mostly, I'd done really well at CoStar Group. Didn't have a ton of money set aside, but I did have some. I had some stock and whatnot. And so I had this little buffer. And that buffer is absolutely key because it's your reserve. Not like what we're talking about right now, you always need that reserve. Businesses have a 6-month reserve. If families have a 6-month reserve, it's easier. When I came here, I had a little bit of a reserve. So my anxiety at first wasn't so high, although, you know me, I'm used to working, right? I work my tail off. It's like, I'm always thinking. I get up at 2:30 in the morning, my mind's going.
Go to bed by 7.
Go to bed pretty darn early at times. And, you know, when I came here, when I made the decision to get into residential real estate, and it was residential and commercial real estate, it was the toughest thing in my life because I didn't respect it. I did not want to get into residential real estate, but I thought having a degree in real estate and urban economics led right into it, and it made sense. I did not know how hard it was going to be. When I got in, after I took the class, I quickly realized that they didn't even teach me how to do a contract. So when they let you out there, it's basically like, here's a phone, here's desk duty. You know, when you get some deals together, we'll help you out. That's just the industry. It's the way it is. So I found out one thing. So I'm looking, you know me, I'm looking for problems. I'm trying to figure out how to solve those. So I started taking note, keeping a journal of problems that were happening. And as I saw them, now for me, I started to get extremely nervous when my expenses started to go up. I started to spend money on marketing and realized that the return wasn't quite there and my funds were getting depleted. So my rock in this whole thing was your mom and me and Pa and Papa and Joey, you know what I mean? So it was, my dad had recently, he had come down. He had left the state of Maine recently. He was working on getting divorced from my mom and really taught me the fundamentals of market analysis. So I thought I knew it before. On the commercial end down in DC, I had learned a lot of the market analytics. On the residential side, I didn't have a good grasp of what was happening. So he really, really helped me in that regard. So I'm learning about the market. I'm learning about how to do a deal. I'm trying to network with people, and that's where it all was crazy. I realized no matter how much you know, how much you learn, it didn't mean a darn thing unless you have a network of people that trust you. I didn't know anybody. I knew nobody here. So my level of frustration, again, anxiety, fear was shooting through the roof. Didn't know how to deal with it. I was still working out. I was probably drinking a little more alcohol than I probably should. And just getting really, and not quite realizing how that impacted the next 2 days after I drank. And now I know, I understand myself and my body, and I know what happens to me. So I quickly realized that the research in my mind, I didn't know the product. I didn't know residential real estate. I didn't know the area. So what I spent my time doing, and a lot of this was with Dad, was we would travel from subdivision to subdivision in each individual town, document those subdivisions. You know, what size homes were they? What size lots were they on? Did they have water views? I needed to learn. I needed to be able to add value to a buyer. I did that in the waterfront communities. We did it by boat. We went up and down the coast. We went from Brantford all the way to Stonington. And we documented a lot. And if you go onto my website right now, if you look up Seaport Real Estate Group waterfront communities or Seaport Real Estate Group subdivisions, you'll see a lot of the analytics and a lot of the work that we did back then that's still great for us today. So as I started to learn about things, I started to get a few deals done. I'm still starving. I remember one deal where it fell through right at the end. I had no money coming in, and your grandfather, Pa, met me halfway up the lawn and gave me $1,200. And I'm in tears because I couldn't, it was so hard to make this happen. That being said, if I had known that there was an 87% failure rate in this industry, I probably wouldn't have gotten in. When I realized that my knowledge, knowing the area, research wasn't going to amount to all them, wasn't going to put money in my pocket. I knew that lead generation was everything. I started putting flyers on cars. I started using the postage machine at Pequot properties like crazy. I was sending out so much as far as mailing goes. I was just trying to survive, and I knew that it was a numbers game. I knew that if I talked to 100 people, I'd get rejected 99 times and maybe one would have an interest. The issue at that time, it was all about survival, and that's typically what the agent is involved in when they're getting into this industry, is survival. So it's about getting a paycheck, and unfortunately, when you're just looking to get a paycheck and it's about survival, you're not looking at the market cycles, the real estate cycles. And by cycles, I mean there's an up and there's a down. That's a cycle right there. So down, top is the peak, down, and they continue to happen. We'll get into why they happen. But if I get somebody to buy or sell real estate and they're at the bottom of the market, that's great. There isn't a whole lot of risk, because as it appreciates, then they even if they made a mistake, it's going to disappear, because they're going to make money as the market goes up. But if I get somebody to buy real estate at the top of the market, if I get them to buy at the top of the market, they're in some deep trouble, because that market declines and they have to move in the next 3 to 7 years, and they don't have any equity in their home. I did them a massive disservice. So these are all things that I started learning, and from the people that really helped me get ahead. Melinda Brooks, Cindy Trothier, they took me under their wing. I was able to do open houses for them. And the open houses, they pay me, when the deal closed. So thank you to them. I had some business partners, right? And you guys know some of the business partners that I've had, and great lessons from them. They taught me probably more than I taught them. What I did realize was that, if somebody's just into the research side or just into the valuation side, it doesn't cut it. If you're just into lead generation, but you don't care about valuation, you don't care about the research, you don't care about the client, all it does is become about the numbers, and that's it. And that's not somebody you want to align yourself with either. So it's led me to where I am today, and I'm in this solid group where everybody understands that lead generation is important, but they also understand that it's not always a good time to buy and sell real estate. A couple of the things that I learned every time I went into the office and they asked about an open house, like, how were the open houses you did this past weekend? It wasn't, did you put the property under contract? It was, did you find a buyer? So I realized quickly that open houses really weren't for the seller. They were in the best interest of the agent, and they help them find buyers. Same thing with listings. These brokerage companies that are out there want you to get as many listings as you possibly can, and if you don't price them accurately, it's okay, because every single listing that you have generates 2 to 3 buyers. So these are just little things that I started learning about the industry, and these are the reasons why I didn't like it from the begin with, and that's the reason why I formed the group that I have right now. We've chosen to do it our way. We do it honestly, and we do it ethically, and we do it solely for the purpose of the client. And we're in the process of actually changing the model. And that's what I'm super excited to talk to you guys about going forward. And this is a lot. It's overwhelming. I'm more talking about this for me, okay? It helps me to say it. So I don't expect you to understand it. I just want you to know how painful and how hard this was.
Not always easy.
It wasn't easy. I remember when I first started again, Mama and I actually being able to go out to dinner once, probably me and Pa paid for it, I'm not sure. But I remember my phone ringing, and I was like, oh my gosh, the phone rang, and I asked Mama, how I'd answered it if somebody was interested in something with a property, and I cut the meal short and had to leave because that was an opportunity I had to take. Your poor mom, she has been my rock again through this whole thing. I don't know how she's done it. I'm grateful. I'm so thankful for her that she stood by me throughout this whole thing. She's a saint. So, so remember that, okay? In the way you interact with Mom and how grateful you are and the gratitude that you have for her. Yeah. I'm grateful for everybody. One more thing that I've learned in this industry. When, again, you can tell the difference between a salesperson or a consultant. The salesperson, you can ask them, how's the real estate market? It's a good time to buy and sell? Yeah, great time. The salesperson, yeah, great time to buy and sell. How's business? I'm busy. They always say they're busy. So if they're really true consultants and you ask about the market, it depends on the price range, it depends on the town, and it depends on the property type. The markets are different everywhere. So my goal in going forward is to help as many people as I possibly can. But that may be telling them not to buy real estate. That may be telling them to rent or stay right where they are. So again, I'm going to help guide you guys. It's completely contrarian thinking from the rest of the marketplace, but it's what's gotten me to where I am now. I hope that's what helps you guys as well. All right, you bunch of bandits. Love you.
Love you.